Putin warns about the U.S. financial system. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that the increase in Russian banking and democracy gave the opportunity to negative growth in the world, especially in the U.S. economy. Putin met with Andrei Kostin, head of VTB, Russia's second-largest bank, assuring the president that the country's economy is safe. Perhaps this is why we have become a bit more defensive about the Russian offensive and strengthened our control in this area, Kostin told Russian officials in the Kremlin on Tuesday. A senior Russian diplomat said, "Look at what's happening in America right now. This is the worst financial and banking crisis since 2008, and it's spreading to Europe." Kostin argues that while trying to solve the problem with methods that lead to investment banking, the West harms the world economy and increases inflation by limiting trade to Moscow. VTB CEO Director, stating that he insists that the Russian banking sector feels quite safe and believes that there will be no problems, he said, "Although we experienced some disasters last year as our products were only delivered by us." The negative effects of the U.S. economy are increasing, Russian President Vladimir Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin, copyright Sputnik/Alexander Kozakov. The increase in ownership and independence of the Russian bank was a bad model. At the time, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that this deficit is growing around the world, the U.S. banking system. Putin is the second largest bank in Russia. VTB's CEO is meeting with Andrei Kostin, to the president of the Chinese economy. "We will have been a little bit about the Russian attack. So defense, we've strengthened our control in this region," Kostin told Russian leaders Tuesday on. In the Kremlin. "Look at what's going on in America right now, no. This is the biggest financial and banking crisis since 2008, and it has spread to Europe," the senior Russian official said, adding that sanctions against Russia are a double-edged sword. Kostin argues that the West is destroying the world economy and increasing inflation by limiting trade to Moscow, while trying to fix this with a standard, causing the company's assets to decrease. The CEO of VTB insists on the Bank of Russia. Noting that the industry feels quite safe, he added that he is confident that there will be no problems. Stating that the trade arrangement is the most important issue for the country, Kostin said, "Given the bad situation in the American economy, what you said about the progress of freedom and independence is perhaps very true on time." The president of Russia previously said that the country's economy was successful with foreign support and said that the West's economy was successful. He warned that sanctions against Turkey would create a boomerang effect. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday that Russia's central bank should be careful about closing banks, while cleaning up the country's finances. In his speech at the Economic Forum, Putin said that cleaning banks late is better than not cleaning them at all. Russia trusts Ukrainian Bakhmut, Putin warns of surveillance. The Ukrainian military said on Tuesday that Russia has bombed settlements around Bakhmut, which had a pre-war population of about 70,000 but are now in ruins after months of fierce fighting. "Our army has carried out more than 60 enemy attacks in the past day, including the villages of Yodhidin and Berkivka in the north of Bakhmut," Army said earlier Tuesday. Russian President Vladimir Putin told the Federal Security Service, FSB, on Tuesday to strengthen 4 areas currently only partially controlled by his military, and to guard against rising crime and aggression against Russia from Ukraine and the West. His comments came after a Russian regional governor said on Tuesday a drone had crashed near an oil distribution center near the city of Kolomna, just 110 kilometers, 68 miles, south of Moscow. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Moscow is open to dialogue, but that Kyiv and its Western allies are in Russia's four regions: Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, Kyiv and the West, is illegal. Peskov told Nature correspondents, "There are laws of the Russian Federation and they cannot be ignored. Russia will not be able to interfere with it. These are important facts." Meanwhile, U.S. Undersecretary for Defense Policy Colin Carr described the Ukrainian front as an uphill battle and said that Russia does not always expect a major breakthrough from land to be made quickly. So you can see a small portion of the field changing hands in the coming weeks and months. I don't think I've seen any signs that Russia will be able to wipe out Ukraine and make significant territorial gains, Carr told the court. A death benefit to Moscow would cause serious problems in Beijing's international relations. But the head of Ukraine's military intelligence denied reports that China was considering supplying weapons to Russia, however, and told the American media he couldn't find any indication that there was an argument, according to AFP. The Kremlin said Moscow was open to peace talks but refused to give up on 4 more districts. Also Tuesday, EU energy officials said the bloc is starting to prepare to continue using natural gas for the winter in addition to additional products. EU Energy Commissioner Kadri Simpson stated that the EU regulations adopted last year will expire at the end of March, adding that the Energy Commission has decided to please don't have hope and continue to reduce it. All EU member states must agree on emissions reduction targets for next winter, with Germany, the bloc's largest economy, demanding targets higher than 15%.